In this video, we will be reading the Texas Education Agency Writing Collection Overview, grades 2 through 12 for TELPAS 2023 through 2024. This comes from the Texas Education Agency Student Assessment Division. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining Adults ESL Online Learning. I'm Dr. Hernández-Smit. Online grades 2 through 12 writing assessment. The online reading and writing test for grades 2 through 12 has writing test items interspersed within the test. Reading and writing test grade clusters include 2, 3, 4 through 5, 6 through 7, 8 through 9, and 10 through 12. Students who are eligible for a special administration of an online TELPAS reading and writing test will be holistically rated in writing. For the reading domain, the special administration is a paper test, regular print, large print, and braille. For more information about a special administration of an online test, refer to the DCCR. Grades 2 through 12 Writing Special Holistic Administration. Teachers assemble a collection of each student's writing from a variety of content areas. Raters base the English writing proficiency ratings on the content of the collections. Additional classroom observations are not used. Raters of K through 12 students base the rating of writing on classroom observations. Writing collections are optional for the K through 1 grade levels. Goal in assembly writing collections. To ensure writing collections portray the student's overall English language writing proficiency. Writing activities. TELPAS writing samples should be taken from authentic classroom activities grounded in content area TEKS and ELPS. February 5th, 2024. Writing assigned on or after February 5th, 2024 may be considered. Writing samples may continue to be gathered until the date designated by the district as the deadline for completing the collections in order to submit the ratings. Reminder: February 5th is not the beginning of the TELPAS assessment window. February 5th is the earliest eligibility date that TELPAS writing samples may be collected. This early eligibility date provides raters with more opportunities to collect a variety of student writing samples that accurately portray the student's English writing abilities in the spring of the year. Although students have received significant instruction and a variety of opportunities to write in the fall and the beginning of the spring semester, only writing samples written beginning February 5th through the end of the assessment window are eligible for inclusion in TELPAS writing collections. Samples required. At least 5 total samples are required in each collection. In each collection, there must be at least one writing sample that elicits the use of past tense, and at least 2 writing samples from math, science, or social studies. Some eligible types of writing: descriptive writing on a familiar topic, writing about a familiar process, writing that elicits the use of past tense, personal narratives and reflective pieces, expository and other extended writing from language arts classes, expository or procedural writing from science, math, and or social studies classes. This is not an exhaustive list, but it encompasses the majority of eligible types of writing to include in the collections. Papers not to include: papers containing copied language, papers in which student relies heavily on resources, dictionary, thesaurus, etc. Writing assignments in which students used a dictionary or thesaurus occasionally as an instructional support to scaffold their writing are acceptable. Papers showing teacher comments and corrections. Papers in which the student relies heavily on word walls, word banks, and student spelling lists. Writing assignments in which students used word walls, word banks, and spelling lists occasionally as instructional supports to scaffold their writing are acceptable. The types of papers shown on the slide should be avoided because they interfere with the ability to measure the student's overall English language writing proficiency. Copied language. It is normal and appropriate for students to refer to instructional materials when writing during content area instruction. Copied language becomes a problem when students copy sentences or paragraphs from instructional resources rather than expressing and connecting ideas themselves using their own words. Heavily reliance on dictionaries and thesauruses. Use of a dictionary or thesaurus is a normal and appropriate instructional practice, and these resources are real-world tools. Teachers should not include a writing sample if the student relied so heavily on dictionaries or other resources that obscures the ability to portray the student's overall English language writing proficiency across the samples. Software that suggests ways to correct misspelled words and/or improve other elements of writing should not be used. Papers not to include continued. Worksheets and question-answer assignments. Papers that have been polished through editing with help from peers or teachers. Papers written primarily in students' native language. Papers that are brief, incomplete, or rushed. These types of papers shown on the slide should be avoided because they interfere with the ability to measure the student's overall English language writing proficiency. Brief, incomplete, or rushed papers. A student's English language proficiency level should be considered when determining whether papers are too brief or incomplete. It is expected that the limited English of beginning students will cause some writing to be brief. Students should be given plenty of time to complete writing assignments. Building writing collections. Strive to gather more than 5 writing samples for each student. Choose at least 5 samples that meet the criteria and do the best job portraying the student's current proficiency level. If a student is near the border between 2 proficiency levels, consider including samples written in the latter part of the TELPAS assessment window. The more recent the writing samples, the more accurately they will reflect the proficiency level of the student. Building collections. Collections should contain some papers in which students showcase the English they know and feel comfortable using. Comfort zone writing is especially important for students at lower proficiency levels. Collections should also include papers in which students are stretched and pushed beyond their comfort zone, so the collection shows that a student has not yet reached the next level. The student is beginning but not yet intermediate, intermediate but not yet advanced, advanced but not yet advanced high. Building collections continued. The papers you assembled need to help determine and justify ratings. They must give evidence to support the rater is saying, I know the student is at least X proficiency level because of these characteristics in his or her writing. I know the student is not yet at the next proficiency level because of these other characteristics in his or her writing. Reminder, The characteristics considered must come from the PLDs. Beginning level. The ELPs require emergent bilingual students of all proficiency levels to learn to write in English. It is not acceptable for writing collections of students at the beginning level to include samples written primarily in the native language. Such samples do not provide evidence of English writing proficiency. In rare circumstances, for a recently arrived newcomer with little to no English ability, samples written primarily in the native language of the student may be used. However, all efforts should be made to collect writing samples in English through the designated collection window. Writing tasks of these students should be adapted to their needs. Their writing in English will likely be formulaic or memorized, include recently practiced vocabulary, lack detail, etc. ELPs call for linguistically accommodating instruction commensurate with the English language proficiency level of the student. Adapting the writing tasks of beginning emergent bilingual students is an example of linguistically accommodating, communicating, sequencing, scaffolding the student's instruction to help the student learn both English and the required concepts of the content area. It is expected that students will cause some writing to be brief. Summarizing tips. Students who are capable of expressing themselves in English in a detailed, extended way should do so. Do not include brief responses from students who do not know enough English to respond to writing tasks in extended ways. In other words, consider students' English language proficiency levels in determining whether papers are too brief to be included. Summarizing tips continued. Build writing collections that have a balance of writing from language arts and other core content areas. Collections should show what the student knows and can do as well as what the student struggles with in second language acquisition. Remember, build the collections to portray the student's overall ability to communicate in writing in English. Verification of collection contents. For grades 2 through 12, Special Holistic Administration for Writing, campuses follow procedures outlined in the TELPAS Test Administration Information to ensure that the writing collections are assembled correctly and include the necessary number of types of writing. Refer to the Test Administrator Manuals section in the District and Campus Coordinator Resources for the latest version of the Test Administration Information. Resources with more details. District and Campus Coordinator Resources, updated annually and available from TEA's Student Assessment website. TELPAS Test Administration Information in conjunction with the TELPAS Rater Manual, updated annually and available in the fall from TEA's Student Assessment website, available online only. Online courses titled TELPAS Assembling and TELPAS Verifying, available online January 8th in the Texas Assessment Learning Management System. TELPAS Test Administration Information Supplement, as well as the TELPAS section of the District and Campus Coordinator Resources, outline procedures for assembling and verifying writing collections. The level of detail teachers assembling the writing collections and writing collection verifiers need is in the TELPAS Test Administration Information. The TELPAS Test Administration Information should be used in conjunction with the TELPAS Rater Manual. The online courses are optional but recommended training resource for teachers, raters, writing collection verifiers, and testing coordinators. Disclaimer: these slides have been prepared by the Student Assessment Division of the Texas Education Agency If any slide is amended or revised for local use, please remove the TEA logo and TEA footer at the bottom of the slide. You may have to use the Slide Master to remove TEA logo and TEA footer. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this information helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.